here in front of me lots of new makeup. Some was sent to me, some I picked up, and I thought I would just kind of mash it all together and do a get ready with me. I have some new Merit skincare products, Tom Ford powder. Ilia came out with their new kind of cream powder highlighter. We have Nars Lipsticks. Esum came out with a collaboration with Sofia's Beauty. She's here on YouTube, and I just wanted to play with these brushes. Just lots of mishmash of everything. So you can grab something to drink, or you can grab your makeup and do it with me, and let's get started. I'm going to start with the new Merit product. This is the Great Skin Priming Moisturizer. You guys know I love my Great Skin serum. It's beautiful, it's glowy, it's moisturizing, and this is supposed to be a little bit more firming. You want to use this more as a primer. It says here that after you clean your skin, you apply your serums. You can do 1 to 2 pumps of this, and then you can follow up with your next step, SPF or makeup, before moisturizer dries down. Okay, let's put a little bit of this. I'm probably not going to put too much because I already moisturized my skin. Ooh, this feels light and gel-like, but moisturized. Like it doesn't feel oily at all. It feels nice. I feel like it has a glow, but I need to test these products out for weeks before I can kind of tell you my thoughts on it. It doesn't feel oily though, or sticky or anything. It actually feels quite luxurious. I like the feel of this. Let's quickly put our foundation on because it says you want to put your SPF or your foundation while it's still wet. Now, I already did my SPF, so there's that. I'm taking my Sephora Skin Tint. I've talked about this one in my other videos. I love this product so much. I'm trying to hurry, so this won't dry down. I don't want to ruin the process, but I loved this skin tint so much. I went and picked up another shade. I feel like the shades that I picked up initially just were not good. They were either too dark or just too yellow or pink. Anyway, so I went back for the shade 150Y, and I think it's a perfect shade. This is a nice light skin tint, but you can build it up to a light medium for sure, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It is $22. Absolutely worth the money. It's not a super glowy skin tint. It kind of dries down a little bit and it's perfection. I love this product so much. I think it worked really well with that primer. I have extreme peeling on my chin, and it's definitely peeling right now like bad. It's my retin-A. It's nothing to do with the products. It's just my skin. Let me see if I can kind of rub this off. I'm putting a little bit of that moisturizer here, and then going back with the skin tint and just putting just a dot to hopefully smooth out the peeling here. Again, it has nothing to do with the products. It's just my skin. I'm just going to leave it like that. The more I mess with it, the worse I'm going to make it. The peeling is mainly like on the bottom part of my chin, so I don't know how noticeable that is, but I love this product so much. It's quite blurring. It feels like skin, and it's amazing. Sephora did great. For concealer, I'm going to take my Hourglass concealer, and I'm going to put a little bit because we have that Tom Ford powder to test out. I have been wearing it. I really wanted to make sure that I have my thoughts before we talk about a $95 powder. But I don't want to put too much around the pore area. I'm blending all of this in. This is just such a staple in my collection, and I didn't like it for a while. This Hourglass concealer, by the way, this is in Apricot 5.5, I think. It doesn't have the number on it, but it's the color Apricot. But I didn't like this because I was applying way too much, so it became quite heavy. But now you saw like just a little dot, That's all you need. If you apply too much, it can definitely be a little heavy. That is all the concealer I'm going to use. I don't need a lot. I just need to kind of pinpoint everything. I've been loving a very soft, barely there makeup for every day. Even honestly for events, if I have to go out on a date or even if it would be a wedding, I still don't wear a lot of makeup. The more I put on, I feel like it ages me. I feel like I'm getting to where I'm starting to notice some signs of aging. Like my skin is not as smooth and as tight, and the more product I put on, I feel like it emphasizes that. Anyway, I just had this conversation with my sister the other day talking about how little makeup we put on. Okay, moving on to a bronzer. Before I do the powder, I have here the Ilia new Sunshift Cream Bronzer. I have the color Ray. This was $38, I'm pretty sure. I don't know, I thought it was kind of pricey. And look how glowy that is. That is a very, very glowy bronzer. And I have been testing it out a few times. And I'll tell you my thoughts after I apply it. But it's quite intimidating to see such a glowy bronzer. I definitely wouldn't use this to contour. I would mainly use it to bronze. So I'm just gonna go up here, get in this region, and try to bronze my skin. Now the actual product is cream, and then once you start applying it and melting it into your skin, it becomes kind of powdery. So I really like the consistency of it. It's a very interesting formula. The problem I have with this is the glow. It's just too much for what I like. And don't get me wrong, I really like a bronzy bronzer. It's probably the only bronzers I use, like my Armani bronzers. They're very glowy, but this to me seems a little bit much, and I'll tell you why. So when I turn my head, you see how all of this is pretty much like a highlighter. You see here it looks better because it has more shadow, but like on my forehead, when I start turning my head, even though it's not patchy because of the light shift, it starts looking a little patchy. So I don't love that about this bronzer. I would use it more as a definitely summer bronze glow, but almost on top of a contour or already bronzed skin. It seems like a lot of people love it, and I don't think I love it. I think it's okay. I think it's just too glowy for how I do my makeup. Like you can see here, I feel like it goes on nice, but the glow is just a little too much for what I like. Maybe if you have like perfect skin, I'm gonna put a little bit here just to kind of define my jaw, but yeah, to me it's just too glowy right there. Like when I look straight, I feel like things are looking nice, but when I start turning, you can see the glow on the forehead. To me, that's too much. Like I want to powder. I do like it on the cheek area here. I think it's nice. It doesn't make me look flat. So I still think there's a purpose for this, but I would use it almost like a bronze topper rather than just a straight up bronzer. What do you guys think? I think this has a lot of good reviews. I've checked on Sephora because I was confused about it. And I know a lot of those are promotions, like they're being paid or they're being sent the product to talk or leave reviews about it. But yeah, I don't think this is my favorite product. I also feel like it's very expensive. I'm pretty sure it's $38. The packaging is not expensive at all. It feels very light, but I do like the way it looks. I like how thin it is and small overall. So yeah, I just think it's overpriced. Also, I think this is a refill. Like you can kind of push this out, it seems like. Now, before I move on to the highlighter, because Ilia also brought a highlighter in the exact same formula, Tom Ford came out with their Architecture Soft Matte Blurring Powder. I got mine in the lightest shade. There's 4 shades total. And this, I've been wearing it for the past week maybe. It does come with a brush. Let me show you the packaging. Here is the packaging. I think it used to have a TF here, but I've been using it, so it kind of rubbed off. And the brush, usually I absolutely despise these brushes, but I actually have been using it because it's fluffy enough to apply powder with. This is how pigmented it is, and it looks very white, and I would say very intimidating, but it does kind of blur into nothing. It has just a tint of a color. So this powder, in my opinion, is more of a finishing powder, not necessarily setting under the eyes. And I've tested it out multiple ways and with multiple concealers and foundations. And I find that if I try to set under the eyes, it's so creamy that it does add even more coverage, but it's not as blurring as my Givenchy powder, that it's kind of more sets the product. This is beautiful for touch-ups, for just a finishing powder, and that way I really, really like it. But I was trying to make this work to pretty much set my under eyes, and I felt like it wasn't blurring as much as it was claiming. This is supposed to be a very blurring, still hydrating, but a matte finish, and it is. The formula is very soft, but creamy. It's not a powder like the Charlotte Tilbury powder is more drying than this one, which I use for touch-ups all the time. This is very, very creamy. And so it's different than pretty much all the other powders that I have in my collection, and I like that. But I'm going to show you under the eyes how it looks like. I just don't think it shines well under the eyes. I am not taking a puff. I think this is just too much. So all I did was one swipe, and look how much powder comes off. So make sure you tap some of that out, and then we can go right under the eyes. I don't want to do this because I don't think it's gonna show the powder's kind of strength, but it does set really nice. It gives a brightness to the skin, but I wouldn't say it's as blurring over the pores as my Givenchy, my Huda, other ones that are just more meant to set to the under eye. This, I think it's beautiful, just kind of all over the skin. Kind of like the Hourglass ambient lighting, but those have glow to them. This does not. This is completely matte. I am going to use my Givenchy on the other side just so you guys can see the difference. Just taking a little bit of the Givenchy, and I'm going to use the other side of the brush, and I'm gonna stamp this softly here. Yeah, like the blur, the difference is quite big. I hope the camera can pick this up, but to me this is so much more smoother. This has more life to it. Now you can see it's creamier and it's very hydrating. So if you have very dry skin, the Tom Ford powder is fantastic for that. But if you're looking for extreme blur, the Givenchy is much better. I'm gonna take a little bit more of the Givenchy and just set this area right here. Now I'm gonna take a fluffier brush. This is a Morphe A22, and I'll show you the power of this powder, the way it's probably intended to be used. So I'm gonna just take this and put it around my forehead. I really think the finish of this powder is beautiful. I've been putting it in my purse for touch-ups. It is perfect. It's never dry. It's never dry. Even though it says it's a soft matte finish, it is not dry. And I think that that is what's special about this powder. It's one of the most hydrating powders that I have. I'm just gonna take it kind of all over. And I think it definitely gives that nice blur effect. But I have learned, do not use this to set under your eyes. I don't think you're going to be happy with that. I really don't think my face looks like it has any powder on. If anything, it just kind of blurred the overall look, kind of like a filter. And it looks like I don't have any powder on. So for that, I think the powder is beautiful and special, and it's $95, extremely expensive. Is it worth it? Definitely not. But if you're somebody who has dry skin, even wrinkles, I think it works really well over wrinkles, but don't expect this to kind of set your under eyes. But for touching up my makeup throughout the day, it's fantastic. It's unique. I actually pulled up my Rare Beauty powder just so I can feel both of them. So Rare Beauty, Tom Ford, and feeling the Rare Beauty. The Rare Beauty is harder pressed, and this is a weird thing that I do, but I usually blend in the powders and I kind of see how it sets into my little fingerprints. And the Rare Beauty sets so much more than the Tom Ford. The Tom Ford almost has a veil over it. I much more prefer the Tom Ford over the Rare Beauty. The Rare Beauty is fine. It's not my all-time favorite powder, but I think the Tom Ford is way superior. Comparing it to the Charlotte Tilbury, I actually wore them side by side yesterday. The Charlotte Tilbury is more matte and a little bit more dry than the Tom Ford powder. Let's move on to the highlighter. This is the Ilia Light Shift Cream Highlighter in the shade Arc. There are 3 shades. This is the medium one. There was a lighter one that was more of a pink tone. And this is exactly the same packaging, just a different color. The formula is the same. Now this one I actually like. I decided to go for the middle shade just because I have been into a very skin-like highlighter, like color-wise. I don't like something that's lighter necessarily than my skin. And so I thought that this would work well. I'm gonna take it and apply it up here. The formula, like I mentioned, is the same as the bronzer, and I like it. I like this for a highlighter purpose, but it still is kind of like a thicker texture, and it does dry down pretty much completely. And I think the finish on the skin is really, really nice. So I think this is a great product. I do like it. I think it looks beautiful. It does become skin-like. I like the color of this. When I turn my face, it's not a shadow or too light. And it does melt into the skin. So this I like. Compared to the bronzer, I much more prefer this. I'm just going to put a little bit here, a little bit on my nose. The formula does remind me a little bit of the Say Little Circle. I don't remember what they're called. It's like a highlighter blush. They have some lighter colors, some bronzier colors. I think this release reminds me of that from Say. So if you did like those round in a pot, I think you would like this one as well. I think this is a little bit harder pressed and more powdery in the end than the Say ones, but I do like this. This is a hit for me. Because my skin overall is quite glowy, even the powder, the Tom Ford powder isn't a super matte powder. It's more hydrating than anything. I think I'm going to use just a matte blush. Maybe this one, French Rosette. This one is from Haus Labs. Ooh, I applied way too much. I'm just going to softly apply the color. I don't know how much is going to work with my top. I probably should have picked a different color, but I would have to get up. I'm going to go over it with a little bit of the Fire Moon just to kind of calm it down or make it a little bit more neutral. I should have used a little bit more of a cool tone blush just because of what I'm wearing. So I'm going to take this Clinique blush. This is in Black Honey Pop. And hopefully this will just take a little bit of that warmth away. We're going to have an intense blush. That was my mistake. And I knew as soon as I applied it or, looked at the color, I just didn't want to get up. That's all it is. I put some gel through my brows and I realized that the Esum collaboration with Sofia Beauty has face brushes and I am so bummed I forgot to mention them and use them. So I'm gonna quickly talk about them right now. I'm gonna use the eye brushes, but she if you don't know who Sofia Sees Beauty is, she is on YouTube, she's on Instagram, and she does a very in-depth reviews of a lot of luxury beauty, and I love her channel. I think she has great energy. She is just very passionate about this, and I love to see that she came out with a collaboration with Esum. There are 6 brushes in here. You have the T59 that, oh, I'm so bummed because I really wanted to use this one. You know what? We're going to use it. I am going to take my bronzer, my Dolce & Gabbana bronzer, and use this brush real quick just because I really felt like I need a little bit more bronzer. It's very, very soft, which, you know, I like to see. I'm going to start here. Oh, wow. It's airy and soft. And that's probably my favorite combination when it comes to face brushes. I don't like them to be too dense. I'm going to take a little bit on my nose to contour because I did not do that. This is the Dolce & Gabbana bronzer. I can't remember if I mentioned that. It's the shade 2. The brush is really nice. I'm going to take a little bit more around here. Ooh, I love this brush. I also really like the handle that it's small because I'm traveling quite a bit and this will take less space. It's so soft. I'm not familiar with Esum brushes. I'm familiar with some of their makeup. I do have just a couple. Like, is this an Esum? Yes, this is an N23. I use this a lot, but I really don't have their brushes, so it's really nice to try these out. This is great for bronzer. That is probably going to be sitting right here. And then there is another brush, T47. I don't think I'm going to use this today just because I have enough blush and everything. This seems a little bit more dense than the T59. I think it's probably going to be better for contouring, maybe even applying foundation. And then there are 4 eye brushes, and so we are gonna play with them now. Let's take the S33. Okay, Urban Decay came out with their Naked palette, the original. They sent it to me, and I don't think I've ever had this. I've played with it before. I think I had it in my makeup kit, but personally, I don't remember owning it myself. So I thought, why not just use this one? I actually tried to record this video a couple of times and somebody was mowing. They started construction on the house next to us, so I had to stop. And I did dig my fingers a little bit into this, and I realized it is much more pigmented than I thought. So I'm going to be more gentle this time around. I'm going to take the Naked shade, which is this one right here. I feel like this is such a classic palette. I don't know why they would discontinue it. Okay, so the brush is a little smaller than I usually do in my crease. Like, I like something fluffier like this. I think this is great if you have smaller eyes or if you want to be more precise where the product goes. It is soft, it is nice, but I don't think it would be for my crease. I would use it more to blend in the line or really work on my corner. Feels nice though. Also, it's a little bit more pointy, so it's more precise. Like, you'll have a lot more precision with this brush. Actually, I'm gonna take the fluffy brush. It's just how I like to do my makeup. I need a big fluffy brush to put the base. And then I'm gonna take the brush from Esum and use this more on the lash line to blend that in to be more precise. I think I kind of want to play with these colors right here rather than here. Maybe we'll combine. Ooh, let's take the color. Ooh, this is an interesting brush, T37. It is angled and it seems densely packed. So I'm going to take the color Hustle and put it right here in the corner. And slowly pack it in. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. Going back with the S33. Okay, that helped blend out really nice. I think for precision work, to blend in precision work, that is a nice brush. I am gonna take the shade Buck on the S33 and just blend this out even more. Take it on the lower lash as well. It's definitely gonna be a smokier eye. Now I really wanna take the color Toasted, and the brush that I'm probably most excited about is this one, V27. I think this is supposed to imitate pretty much your fingertip, so it would be easy to apply the all over products. So I'm gonna take the Toasted, and this one's also kind of bent at an angle and it's dense. So let's see how it applies the product. I think this would also be great in the inner corner. That color is softer than I thought it would be. It looks very intense here, and I actually like that. I was a little scared. This brush is really nice. It's very dense, so it's going to be good for creams as well. I do want to take a little bit of Sidecar, which is a really intense color. Look at that. On the same brush, I really like this brush, the V27, and just apply it right here in the center. I may want to spray this. I'm just going to spray it a little bit and pick up the color, and this will intensify it a little bit more. Yeah, I like that better. I think this palette is a great kind of neutral, cool tone, even smoky palette. Nothing is exaggerated, nothing is too much. There's no crazy toppers. I think Sidecar is the most kind of intense shimmer. And so I think if you're into that, this palette is nice. In the brush collection, there's also this one that is the T05. Oops. And this is a nice liner brush. I feel like you could even use it on your brows. It's a very stiff. So I think I'm going to take the color, maybe Creep, which is this one right here. It's not quite a black. It seems like it's a deep gray. Let's line the top. Yeah, this brush is a very stiff, so you can really do a line with it. You could use it on your brows for sure. I'm taking the S33 brush and just smoking this out. Last, I'm gonna take the color Virgin right here, just the last one, and just gonna brighten up the inner corner just a little bit. This is such a good brush for this. It like fits perfectly in here. I liked it under the eyes as well. Okay, I'm actually really liking the eye look. Let me put mascara on and then I'll give my thoughts on it. Here is the finished eye look, and I have to say I am loving it. It's a little smokier, but it's so wearable, and I'm loving the different kind of textures. In the beginning, I thought it would be way too smoky, but honestly, I think I'm gonna reach for this. I think this is really nice, and it was just easy to work with. So yeah, if you've been eyeing the Urban Decay Naked palette, this is the time to pick it up. I think it's limited edition again. I don't understand why, but I'm liking this. Okay, I feel like I'm 10 years too late, but it's a good one. Now for the brushes, I love the T59 is incredible. It's so soft, so airy, incredibly gentle, which is what I like. So this, I think it's going to be pretty much an everyday brush. Again, I did not try the T47, but I think I would use it a lot for cream contour. I feel like that's based on the texture and the density of the brush. That's probably how I would use it. And then my next favorite is the V27. This is going to be another staple in my collection because it's just such a perfect size, perfect cut and density to apply those shimmers. And then I really like the S33. It is a little bit tighter and smaller, yet it still blends like the liner really well. If you need to blend in that V shape at the corner, that's a great way. Congratulations, Sofia. I am proud of you. You did a great job, and I will make sure to link everything down below. So if you want to support a fellow YouTuber that is working so hard and you would get amazing brushes, you can do your entire eye look with the brushes. And I think you could even do your entire face, because I think the T47 could be a great foundation brush. But yeah, check it out. I think it's fantastic. Moving on to the lips, I have the new Nars Lipsticks, and I bought 4 shades. I initially was not very interested in this, but after swatching this, and I purchased one initially. I purchased the shade Envy first, and I'm actually going to swatch them for you, but the packaging is really beautiful. It is refillable. It is $40 though, and I think the component is $26. Like if you want to refill it, I don't know how you're going to take it out, probably pull it. Yeah, the packaging is really nice. It is magnetic and it has this erased writing here, Nars. It's nice. It's kind of luxurious. It's not too heavy, but it's not cheap at all. I saw that they released them. I wasn't super interested in it. And then I swatched them in store and they swatched really well. It's a beautiful satin formula. And then I purchased one, and that color, it's a satin finish, remember, stayed on all night long. I ate throughout the day, I drank, and I couldn't believe when I went to take my makeup off that my lipstick was still on. So I went back because I love the formula so much and picked up a few other shades. So let me swatch them for you. Here are the colors that I picked up, starting with the lightest one. It is the color Blame. Then we have Envy. Then we have Decadence. And the last one right here is Exposed. They do have a lot of more intense colors as well, but I'm basic and I almost never wear intense lipsticks. So let's start with Blame, which is the lightest one. And they are so comfortable, good pigment, again, satin finish, and extremely long lasting. Here is the color Blame without any lip liner. I'm going to swatch them all without lip liner and then probably put one that I want to wear throughout the day with lip line. This one is Envy. This is probably my perfect kind of everyday nude color. It's not too pink, it's not too brown. It's perfect. Here is the color Decadence. And I think what's so unique about the formula is that even though they're very creamy and like that satin finish, they do not bleed outside of your lip line. Last color is in the color Exposed, and I think it's a little bit more cool tone. I think a lot of people are gonna like this. Every time there's a cool tone color, it looks much more gray on me. But I actually think with a lip liner, I could pull this one off. I think, I may wear this one today. This is the color Exposed. Okay, I put a little bit of my Dior lip liner. This is in the shade 300. Adore this lip liner. And then let's take a little bit of Exposed and put it on top. Love the feel of these. They're very, very comfortable. Guys, I'm not usually into super satin lipsticks. I love a matte. There's something about these lipsticks that I think the formula, the longevity, the way they feel is a very good quality. They are expensive. They're very expensive. I mean, Nars was always kind of expensive when it came to their lip products. But if you are at Sephora, just go swatch them, try one on, and see what you think. Let's take a little bit of Blame and put it right here in the center because I'm extra. That is everything for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I have lots of new videos coming up. I have a blush ranking. I have a big declutter coming up. So make sure you're subscribed. You can follow me on Instagram as well. And that's it. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.